Okay, just bottled up a gallon of cider. I bottled mine up in these 16-ounce gross bottles, and I primed it with sugar so it'll be carbonated. And like I said, these are reusable. All you have to do is replace these little gaskets right here. And nice fresh cider. And this is part of my starting up my permaculture cider. And this is step one, learning how to brew your own even though you don't have trees. You just use apple juice out of the store. So started up 3 gallons of cider. It'll ferment for about a week to 2 weeks, depending on the temperature, how cold it gets in here, which should be pretty much regulated at 72 degrees, so it should only have to ferment for a week. See, there's no activity right now on the airlock because I just pitched the yeast, but by tomorrow or the next day we should have some activity on that airlock. Now here's a scaled up version of the gallon. See, I can make a gallon out of these gallon glass jugs, but this is 3.5 gallons, so I make 3-gallon batches out of this. And these were free buckets that I got from Walmart, not Walmart, Publix, sorry. And I drilled up this hole and put a grommet in it to have this airlock, and that's all you have to do. Free fermenting buckets. And I'm going to try to get some 5-gallon fermenting buckets coming up so I can even scale bigger. Then I scale bigger, and I'll scale bigger, and I'll scale bigger. Got to start somewhere, and this is where I'm starting. My dream, my hope is to get my orchard going and get an apple press, apple grinder, and have my own juice. Right now I just purchase it, and next step is probably getting fresh cider from a local orchard, and I'll be doing that probably next year since it's out of season right now. So that's my plan going forward. Say hey, Chippy. Say hey, Chip. Hey, Chip. Say hey to everybody. Say hey. Say hey. Him's a good boy. Okay, here's step 2 of permaculture cider. I've been collecting these apple seeds, and I have a lot more to be stratified, but this is the step 2, starting my own orchard. So these are, I read a good book, and this was my plan to begin with. It's the cider making, I forget the title of it, cider making love to make cider and other things. I forget the name of the exact name of the title, but it said use 60% of known like dessert apples, like your McIntosh, your Red Delicious, and I like Pink Lady, so I'm going to use that. Now I got Granny Smith trees already, so I'll use mainly Granny Smith, Antonovka, and 40% they said wild apples that tend to be more like a crab apple. When you get a seed from an apple, they're not true to type, as in a Granny Smith cannot pollinate a Granny Smith, so the seeds are not Granny Smith seeds. So when you cold stratify these, which I'll soak them overnight, then put them in the refrigerator for 2 months, I can then, that simulates winter. So after that I'll plant them and see what the apples will come out. And they'll tend to be more like a crab apple, which is what I want to give a little mouth body and flavor and the little oomph, the little something extra into my ciders. And that'll be the finished product of permaculture cider. And this is Chris with Freedom Farm TV, and that's all there is today.